Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a family feud leads to a shootout at a Victoria apartment complex.
New law enforcement leadership is sworn in Jackson County.
And one day after a deadly attack in the French Quarter, New Orleans tries to return to normalcy.
We'll be taking a look at your weekend, which is on the mild side and very comfortable t-shirt weather. However, Monday, an Arctic blast rolls down and affects us with freezing weather. Next week, we'll have all that coming up.
And Calhoun Industrial volleyball teams have multiple players competing in the 361 All-Star Game this Sunday. I'll tell you more in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie.
And I'm Brubaker.
An altercation between relatives turns into a shootout at a Victoria apartment complex. Around 5 o'clock this afternoon, police rushed to the 1400 block of Navidad Street. Officers quickly roped off the area to investigate and found several bullet holes in the home, shell casings in front of the apartment, and broken glass, possibly from a car window. The woman who lives there told us the shooting started over an alleged theft between her two nephews. She said a car pulled up, someone started firing, and she was forced to the ground as shots were fired back.
My nephew pushed me to the ground, told my husband to get down on the ground, and then he came out, you know, they just started shooting. I ain't never been through nothing like this, nothing. And it was so scary, just like I said, my nephew threw me to the ground. You know, it just happened so fast.
As of now, police say no one was hit by any bullets. No word on how many people total were involved.
Rick Boone was sworn into office as Jackson County Sheriff during this morning's Jackson County Commissioners Court meeting. Boone succeeds Kelly Janecka, who did not run for re-election. Janecka first hired Boone when he was 19. Boone has served in law enforcement ever since, including in nearly every position in the sheriff's office. Boone was heavily involved in finding the reported killer of Edna High School cheerleader Lisbeth Medina. She was found stabbed to death in December of 2023. Longtime Edna resident Kenneth Pyle, a senior detective from the Port Lavaca Police Department, was sworn in as Edna's new police chief this morning. Pyle succeeds Boone. Pyle brings over 2 decades of law enforcement experience. Pyle has lived with his family for more than 20 years in Edna.
The first baby of Generation Beta in Victoria is a healthy baby boy named Kendrick. He was born at Detar Hospital North at 3:32 a.m. on January 1st, weighing 7 pounds even and measuring 20 inches long. His proud parents, Jamie and Isaac, are both from Victoria. Mom and baby are doing well as they begin their new journey together.
And let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. And talking to Mac earlier, it sounds like when you talk about journeys, it looks like we're going to be making a journey into Winterland next week.
Well, yes, we are looking at Arctic air, which is, of course, cold and dry, coming in Monday. And next week, we're going to be bottoming out at about 32 degrees for several mornings. So now this weekend is the time to get ready for it. Coming up, we'll be talking about where that Arctic blast is coming from. And the thing is, how long it will last is the big question mark. Will be at freezing for how long, how many days? Well, this looks like about a 2-week cold snap. So we're going to take a good look at it coming up in a moment. Back to you.
For our viewer poll today, we want to know how you're preparing for this cold that is coming our way starting next week. Are you being mindful of the 4 Ps, the people, pets, pipes, and plants? Are you buying additional groceries, checking the heater in your house, checking your vehicles, or buying firewood? We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And still, a majority of you are being mindful of those 4 Ps. To make sure you have everything covered there, 83%. But if you haven't voted yet, we still want to hear from you. And thanks to everyone who has voted. Well, now to New Orleans. Authorities believe the man who plowed a rented pickup truck into a crowd early New Year's Day acted alone.
State and federal officials say there is no additional threat to the public.
The FBI no longer believes other suspects are involved in the deadly truck ramming attack in New Orleans. The swift reversal after the FBI now says it combed through hours of surveillance video showing the moments it says the suspect sped down the jam-packed Bourbon Street, killing 14 and injuring dozens of others.
We've had 24 hours now to go through media, to go through phones, to interview people, to analyze those videos. We're confident at this point that there is no accomplices.
President Biden meeting with his Homeland Security team today.
I directed my team to accelerate these investigations so we have answers to our unanswered questions and making every single resource available to get the job done.
Shamsuddin Jabbar was killed in a shootout with police. The FBI now says the U.S.-born 42-year-old Army veteran drove from Houston to New Orleans New Year's Eve and posted several videos online proclaiming his support for ISIS. An ISIS flag recovered from the back of his pickup truck.
Jabbar explains he originally planned to harm his family and friends, but was concerned the news headlines would not focus on the, quote, war between the believers and the disbelievers, end quote.
The area where the attack happened now washed clean. Louisiana's governor saying with the influx of law enforcement, New Orleans is now one of the safest places on earth.
We're going to keep those, again, who have lost loved ones in mind, and we're going to get on to the business of this city and this great country.
And the FBI says it is searching a home they believe is connected to Jabbar. They also say they've spoken with several people close to that suspect. They're urging anyone else with information to come forward. Meanwhile, Louisiana's governor insisting that the city of New Orleans is safe and that there is security in and around the Superdome ahead of the Sugar Bowl. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, New Orleans.
The FBI has released new images of the suspect walking along New Orleans' Daphne Street near Governor Nichols Street around 2 a.m. in a long tan coat and jeans. That intersection is a block away from Bourbon Street. Another image shows a blue cooler with a long handle that was placed near Bourbon and Orleans Streets. The FBI is asking witnesses who may have passed Jabbar on the street or seen the blue ice chest to contact them. According to the FBI and two senior U.S. law enforcement officials, the two functional explosive devices made with pipe and containing nails were inside two coolers. Agents also found bomb-making materials called precursor chemicals during a search of the suspect's home in Houston's Greens Point area.
A moment of silence was held at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans before the national anthem at today's Sugar Bowl. That game was postponed for a day after the Bourbon Street attack that killed at least 14 people and left several others hurt. The Sugar Bowl is the final game of the college football playoff quarterfinals. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish beat the Georgia Bulldogs to advance in the series.
Among the victims of the attack are Matthew Tenendorio, Nakira Dido, Drew Daphne, Kareem Badawi, Nicole Perez, Reggie Hunter, Hubert Guthrow, and Tiger Beck. You can learn more about each of these victims by going to our website, crossroadstoday.com. Now, as the investigation into this deadly attack unfolds, New Orleanians are trying their best to get back to normal. The Sugar Bowl game between Georgia and Notre Dame was postponed, but that game got underway this afternoon.
That area of New Orleans where a man weaponized a vehicle on Bourbon Street, intentionally driving through crowds of people, that area could swell with people this evening.
We're right outside the Superdome in New Orleans. The Sugar Bowl has now ended, and we're now seeing traffic back open here in front of the stadium. This, again, is just a mile away from where the attack took place on Bourbon Street. The FBI also confirming that the attacker acted alone and was 100% inspired by ISIS. In a show of resilience, a second-line band plays near the site where an unthinkable tragedy took place not long ago.
We laid 14 yellow roses down for our 14 victims.
14 roses to memorialize lives that were tragically cut short. Before sunrise, sanitation crews in New Orleans had a grim task, turning a horrific crime scene back into a public street.
We were able to remove our victims, identify them, and notify their families. Real reverence. They mattered.
Canal and Bourbon Streets open for business once again. The city ramped up for Thursday's Sugar Bowl and evening celebrations.
I feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be the safest city in America right now.
You got to live your life. You can't live your life in fear.
Initial reports from the FBI indicated that 42-year-old suspect Shamsuddin Jabbar of Texas had been inspired by ISIS and may not have acted alone. On Thursday, authorities pivoted.
We do not assess at this point that anyone else involved in this attack is involved in this attack except for Shamsuddin Jabbar.
CNN obtained new doorbell video that appears to show the suspect before the attack unloading his rented truck outside the Airbnb he was using. Meanwhile, in Texas, law enforcement agents searched a Houston home this morning in connection with the case. New Orleans Police Chief Ann Kirkpatrick had said earlier, quote, that the city was hardening the target around Bourbon Street, meaning that they were raising the existing barricades, also putting in other barriers on sidewalks to make sure no cars could get through on to Bourbon. In New Orleans, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Federal agents and police search a Colorado Springs townhouse in connection to a Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas. The FBI, ATF, and local police were on the scene, confirming the truck was rented in Colorado. Officials believe the driver, identified as U.S. Army Green Beret Matthew Allen Livelsberger, was confirmed through tattoos and other items, but authorities are still waiting for DNA results. The FBI is investigating possible terrorism links, but sees no connection to the New Orleans attack the same day.
Still no arrests 4 years after pipe bombs were left near the RNC and DNC headquarters. The FBI, with no suspects yet, released new video angles hoping to jog memories or encourage tips. A $500,000 reward has not led to answers. The bombs, placed on January 5th, 2021, were found the next day, but attention quickly shifted to the Capitol riots. The suspect is about 5 feet 7 inches tall, wearing a hoodie, mask, and rare black and gray Nike Air Max shoes.
A small plane crashes into a building, sparking a 4-alarm fire and triggering a massive response from firefighters and police. A plume of thick black smoke rose into the air above the scene in Fullerton, California, and was visible for miles. 2 people were killed and 18 others hurt. The plane was returning to the airport when it hit the building, approximately 300 yards from the airport runway. The FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board will be investigating the cause.
An outage that shut down driver license offices appeared only to affect the Texas Public Safety Department. Driver license offices reopened after the New Year's Day holiday. To read this full Texas Tribune article, visit our website, crossroadstoday.com.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, thieves make a daring heist, stealing around $10,000 worth of Pokemon cards from a comic book store.
Also ahead, food recalls are on the rise. We'll have ways to stay ahead of the game and keep your kitchen safe. A garbage truck crashes feet underground into a sinkhole after the driver pulled aside a barricade. The Omaha City engineer says the alley where it happened has been a concern for the city.
Alex McClune has the details.
A sinkhole leaving residents without gas and heat. MED crews working Thursday to return gas and water after a garbage truck driver took a dive into a sinkhole.
We're just waiting on some of the resources of the utilities to figure out what they need to do to shut the utilities off. Once they do that, Omaha fire crews are going to get lowered to the front of that truck.
The city official says the driver removed a barricade to drive through the alley. The passageway has concerned the city and neighborhood for years because of surface issues.
Well, it's sad.
Yeah.
Just shows you what kind of condition our roads and alleys are in.
The block became the center of attention as firefighters prepared to lift the truck out by shutting off utilities.
I was at home working. I was working remote, and then all of a sudden everything in my apartment building went out. All the lights and electricity in the whole building was gone.
Over the course of 20 minutes, firefighters safely lowered one of their own into the hole, hitched the lift to the garbage truck, and raised it out onto the street where it was towed away.
Me and my dog walked past this earlier today, so we knew it was a dangerous spot. But for somebody to just roll through there, it's insane.
The block of 16th Street remains closed indefinitely, concerning restaurant owners forced to deal with streetcar preparations and now more utility issues.
Well, thieves in California stole roughly $10,000 worth of Pokemon cards from a comic book store in Santa Barbara. According to the store's owner, each of the Pokemon cards ranged in value from $50 to $500. The owner said it appears the thieves knew exactly what they were after, quickly going after specific items and making a fast escape.
They stole $10,000 with a single Pokemon card. Some were graded, some are raw. They range from $50 to $500. But yeah, they came in, knew exactly what they wanted to get, and grabbed it and ran out the door.
According to the owner, Pokemon cards have surged in popularity in the world of collectibles in recent years. Well, Braga Fresh is recalling 12-ounce bags of market broccoli florets. They were sold at Walmart nationwide, and they're being recalled due to possible listeria contamination. The bags have a use-by date of December 10th, 2024. While no illnesses have been reported, listeria can be dangerous, especially for pregnant women, seniors, and those with weakened immune systems. In rare cases, it can be fatal. So stay safe and double-check your fridge. Well, food recalls can happen at any time, and knowing who monitors your food and how to stay informed can help you keep your family safe.
And this latest recall came after random sampling by Texas Health and Human Services.
The Food Safety and Inspection Service, or FSIS, is the branch of the U.S. Department of Agriculture that ensures meat, poultry, and egg products are fit to eat. FSIS inspectors work in processing plants to test for food safety and enforce strict federal standards. When problems like contamination or mislabeling arise, they issue a food recall. To stay informed about any recalls or food safety concerns, check the FSIS website, sign up for email alerts, or follow USDA FSIS on social media. Recall notices include product names, dates, and codes to help identify affected items. If you have a recalled product, do not use it, throw it out, or return it to the store for a refund. And always handle and cook food safely to reduce your risk of illness. With this Medical Minute, I'm Zoreen Shah.
A federal appeals court officially ended net neutrality. The ruling means broadband providers can now slow down competing content or charge for faster speeds. The FCC fought to regulate broadband as a utility to protect net neutrality for nearly 2 decades, but a 3-judge panel decided it lacks the authority. Net neutrality has not been enforced since the Trump administration.
Singer Wayne Osmond has died. Flowers were placed on the Osmonds Hollywood Walk of Fame star in honor of his passing. Best known as a member of the iconic family group the Osmonds, they gained fame in the 60s on The Andy Williams Show and later topped pop charts in the 70s. Wayne's brother Merrill shared that he suffered a massive stroke before his passing. Wayne Osmond was 73 years old.
Well, good evening, everyone. Our temperature now at 62. We're not getting much colder than that. We're going to stay rather muggy and humid out there. Now, by sunrise, it's probably going to be thick fog, so be cautious of that early in the morning. Our high was 64, the low was 48, which is about where we're supposed to be this time of year. Next week, winter arrives on Monday, and I mean, it's gonna be cold. We're talking below freezing temperatures right in our area. We'll be talking about that coming up after this. Well, good evening, everybody. As we head on into Friday and the weekend, we're actually looking at very, very comfortable, very pleasant weather. T-shirts and flip-flops you're going to be wearing this weekend. Thing is, make sure you know where you left your jacket last time you used it. The rain and the cloud deck was with us today because of this low, but it is moving to the northeast toward Louisiana, and therefore tomorrow we start foggy and low cloudy and real damp, but during the day we'll start to clear up. And then we get to the Saturday and Sunday, and they're going to be spectacular. Very nice, late winter, late pleasant winter, because that's going to be it. After that, Monday, it is going to be cold. Now, what we're looking at is basically gathering strength. You see these white lines? These are the upper winds up where the airplanes fly, right? And all winter long, since November, the winds have been pretty much from west to east. As a result, they dammed up the cold air. It didn't allow it to come through. So now the gate is open as we're going to be developing this big dip down here, and that is what's going to usher in the coldest temperatures we've seen since last year. You need to start getting ready for this. Look at this. Low temperatures Friday 55, Saturday 56, 65 the morning low on Sunday, but then we get down into the 30s and we'll be hovering at near freezing for the next all of next week, okay? Tonight, as we said, we're not particularly cold, and tomorrow, fairly quiet day. Now, the cloud deck will be thinning out during the day. You might see a little bit by the end of the day, but certainly for the weekend, we're going to pick up a southwest wind, and that's going to dry us up and get us rather warm temperatures. Now, I'm giving you 7 days out to give you an idea of what's happening across the country. First of all, this is the little cloud deck we had today. That moves away. Friday, we're going to be looking for a little bit of cloud cover, but much of that thinning out, and probably no precipitation like we had today. Then we get to Saturday, we start seeing a little bit of clearing here. You can see right there, but it doesn't last very long, because by Sunday, we start seeing the tail end of the front begin to move into North Texas and then race down toward our area, giving us clear and cold conditions. Fortunately for us, the snow is staying up here. In fact, this storm is going to go Denver to Cincinnati pretty much on a straight line. Then we get to Monday, and we're looking at clear and cold conditions. The map sort of belies the fact that we're going to be looking at a rather chilly north wind blowing, and now it gets real complicated. So here we go. This is Wednesday. What you see here, we see ice in the pink and possible snow as far south as Austin, okay? Now for us, we're going to start picking up a little moisture, but generally it should be rain from the south. That's Wednesday. Thursday, complicated situation. This is a winter storm over North Texas, okay? This is an icy road conditions, probably Longview, Austin to Del Rio. And then we'll go one more day. Next Friday, you can see how the ice and snow pulls out. But the big concern I have is going to be right about here over the southwest. Watch that next week. that is going to make problems for us. Just to give you an idea of what's going on across the country, yeah, it's cold up there, and we're going to be dealing with it as well. Tomorrow, fairly quiet day, overcast, a little rainy, a little drizzle early, but only a high of 69. In Cuero, you'll get up to 69 as well. Don't expect a lot of sun, but on the weekend, it's going to be nice. Look at that, 77 to 78. Big cold front Monday morning. Then I've got alert days for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, near freezing temperatures every morning from then on. And believe it or not, in the 14-day time period, we do have a lot more winter weather headed in our direction. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. And now we'll toss it over to Max with sports and b-ball.
All right, thanks, Mac. Today we had early Crossroads men's basketball. Cuero Gobblers facing the Navarro Panthers at the Roost there in Cuero. I'll give you the full highlight coming up in sports. All right, so yesterday we talked about some top soccer action here in the Crossroads, but now we're going to transition over here to basketball here. And again, right now they're in district play. We got multiple teams, though, we got to keep an eye on here heading into district play here right now. And some of the teams I'm going to mention here in district play to watch out for on the women's side first is in 3A there at the Edna girls. Right now, they are 16-7 in non-conference play. And right now, they're making a lot of noise because they made a deep run in the postseason there last year. But another team that's also doing well right now is Tidehaven women's basketball. They're 23-1 and 3-1 there in district. But in 2A ranks, the Shiner Lady Comanches, they went far last season. And they went 12-8 here overall right now here in non-conference play. See how they do going into district play. And again, there's the two teams in men's basketball that are making some noise right now. The Edna boys basketball team is 5-2 right now in their season. Victoria East is 15-10 overall. They're looking to make a deep postseason run. And again, these next couple of weeks, we're going to see a lot of district play, a lot of high-level basketball. Can't wait to cover it on the women's and men's sides. Now, speaking of basketball, we had the Cuero Gobblers. They had no problem picking up number 2 on the young year win for the Gobblers. They won 54-37 in non-district, beating the Navarro Panthers. And David Linden poured in 15 points. Walker Dietz, he dropped 13 there to help again the Gobblers get the win. They're going to face Goliad January 7th before they go into district play there next week. Now over to the Crossroads for some volleyball news here. Industrial volleyball team won multiple awards here this off-season. First, with the first team honors going to Desiree Evans, Kate Simons, and Kaylee Hunk. They're getting the first team district. Then second team district went to Desiree Atlantis and then Pacey Rowe. Then the entire team there for Industrial won academic all-district. And then 3 of those players there for Industrial will play there in the 361 All-Star game. That will be the first time this event's going to happen at Hallettsville High School, with Desiree Evans, Kate Simons, and Pacey Rowe all competing there. And also their head coach, and Tara Dunn, is also going to coach in that game as well. So pretty cool to get their shout out to Industrial for volleyball. But Calhoun also has 2 players selected to play in that game as well this Sunday again at Hallettsville. Senior captains Neva Rangel, Kendall Vargas were selected for the Sand Crabs this past season. Rangel led the Sand Crabs on the offensive side there with kills. Kendall Vargas led the team there in digs this past season. So congrats to both Sand Crabs volleyball players. And also, how about Mackenzie Jude, Braley Christensen, Addison Rodriguez, and Kendall Vargas? They all got TGCA Academic All-State. So doing it well there on the court and also there in the classroom. Now, how about the Pro Bowl? It was announced there today on the NFL side. Both for the AFC and NFC were both announced here. The Texans got some love there with their running back Joe Mixon, wide receiver Nico Collins, and offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil all getting selected on the offensive side. Then on the defense defensive side, cornerback Derek Stingley Jr. got selected there for the Texans, but the Cowboys had a little representation as well. CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, and also special teams players and Brandon Aubrey and Gavante Turpin got also selected there for the Cowboys. And then how about some big news we figured out earlier? Victoria East star quarterback there as well in the past, Bailey Zappi, will get the start here for the Cleveland Browns. Yes, remember I mentioned earlier he was in the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad, now got over to the Cleveland Browns. They're going to be facing here against the Ravens 3:30 right here on KAVU TV. So, Don, how about this, man? We get to see Bailey Zappi in action here the last game of the season against the Ravens. I think we'll see what he does. What do you think he's going to do?
I think he'll do very well. He's done mostly well, his chances of being a starting quarterback, and I think the Browns just got a whole bunch of Victoria fans for this weekend. Go Bailey, go Browns. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, if shoveling snow is not your thing, a Pennsylvania guy might just have the most fun solution to clearing his driveway without lifting a finger.
Goodyear blimp is celebrating 100 years in flight. To mark the milestone, Goodyear has appearances planned in more than 100 cities throughout North America and Europe at sporting events and festivals. Goodyear kicked things off Wednesday, appearing at the 111th Rose Bowl game, a tradition since 1955. Only 0.0006% of Americans can say they have flown in the Goodyear blimp.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
But fans can enter for a chance to do so through a sweepstakes on Goodyear's website. Are you one of those?
I was there.
Wow.
I was there. I was on the Goodyear blimp out of Long Beach Airport. And not only that, but there's even less of a percentage of people who did the weather on the Goodyear blimp.
Whoa!
Thank you very much.
Wow.
That's when microwave was invented, and we can finally do that. Because carrying that cable was just such a problem.
Oh yeah, I would think so. Yeah, show us pictures later. Hey, if you're tired of shoveling snow in the winter, a man in Erie, Pennsylvania may have a solution for you. It's a remote control snowplow, complete with a small shovel attachment. He got it as a gift from his family. On top of being a lot of fun, he says it's been useful for shoveling his driveways. So you can stay inside, I guess, where it's warm and you got the hot cocoa and got the fire, and then
it took him long enough to figure that out, you know. I mean, that's
might take a little bit longer. But
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if that's easier than just shoveling it normally.
Yeah, but just get another cup of chocolate, you know, you're fine.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Well, I don't know that we'll be blowing, blowing snow out of the driveway, but we are looking at the coldest temperatures we have had since last January coming in next week. So I want you to get ready for tomorrow and the weekend, because the blast comes in on Monday morning. It'll be a strong cold north wind, and then our temperatures will be dropping to near freezing every morning for Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, and beyond that, believe it or not, there is a winter storm possibly gathering in the southwest of the United States. I'll explain that next week, but it's a classic pattern that we've seen before and that I've seen before. Every time that I predict snow, they go, "Oh, get out of here." And I'm going, "No, look at the map. It's right here."
So that's just the start to possibly even colder weather.
More sloppy weather.
Okay.
The concern is we get the cold air, then moisture on top of it, precipitation, and we get ice storms. So
more is coming. So.
Yep.
Well, an Indiana boy is making cold weather days more bearable for homeless in his city. 9-year-old Malik Ford is the inspiration behind Malik's Blankets. It's an organization that gives out blankets, sleeping bags, clothes, food, and hygiene products to hundreds of homeless people. It got started a couple years ago after Malik recognized a need within his community. They have partnered with formerly homeless veterans and other nonprofits. So wonderful.
That's awesome.
Have a great evening. Thanks for joining us.